This is the first of a series of geeky short videos I've decided to do that I can do inside in view of the pestilence that still stalks the world outside. And I'm hoping that no one is going to be having a protest march in the square, or otherwise creating some noise, which started happening just when I first started to film this video, which is going to be about my galley box. It's appeared in a few videos and I've talked a little bit about it, but I thought I'd properly show you round. So that's what's going to happen in this geeky short video. So here it is. It's just a plywood box. I made it many years ago and it gets progressively adapted as the years go by, and it's designed just to fit in the boat under the forward thwart. So there's a lid, and the lid, when taken off, becomes a tray that you can put things in. So, and they just stack up on top of the stove. So we'll take those out. So here's the stove. It's an Origo alcohol stove. Really keen on them. They're very popular among long distance sailors who want a stove that they can rely on, that isn't going to flare up, that doesn't have dangerous products like gas. And there was a period when there was a competing manufacturer making an almost identical stove. But suddenly, very recently, they've stopped being made, which is a bit of a blow if you want to copy my galley box, because you're going to have to use either a sort of trangia type alcohol stove, which is much more primitive, I would say. Lots of people who are really fond of trangias, I better be careful what I say, but they're not like a proper marine stove like this is. Or you're going to have to use a gas stove, and then you're going to have to worry about whether it gets too hot with the gas canister in there as well as the stove. You're going to have to make sure there's a lot more air passes through, because these are intrinsically very safe. There's a side section of the galley box where there are all sorts of other useful things, like the cutlery drawer, which is, as you can see, just a pencil case, and that contains all sorts of useful things. But including most particularly a lighter. And to light the stove, you just turn it on and light it like that, and then you check it's lit because you can feel the heat. It's one of the things with these stoves is that the flame is often not very visible. So if we put the kettle on, the way I arrange this, I can actually leave water in the kettle for if I need it, and we can adjust the fiddles to hold that in place. So you can see I can actually use the stove while sailing along, because everything's completely rigid and the box keeps the wind off. I can even shut the front, it still all works. The inside of here is covered with heat-proof material, and I'm often asked, what is this heat-proof material? Where can I get it from? I was in a DIY store once and they were selling fake marble surround to fireplaces, you know, open fireplaces, and so I bought a sheet of it. It was quite expensive, but it's completely fireproof, that's the point, and you can cut it to size and sort of glue it in place, as I have, and that's what that is. It's also what's in the lid of the lids. That's heat-proof as well. It's the same material. So a sheet of it did both the inside of both lids, because it's another box. over here, which is the kombu's store box, which is a matching box, but it's just a box without obviously all these flaps and so on. This isn't waterproof. It's quite water resistant, particularly if you do up all the catches, because everything's sort of shut really tightly and the lids put on very nicely. It you know, can cope with water washing around the boat, but if you capsize, water will get into all this. It's not designed to resist that. You can probably hear the kettle beginning to boil there. Turn it off. The other things there are down the side here, I have a chopping board, obviously for chopping vegetables with the sharp knife, which is an Opinel knife that I use, and the tea bags. There is I have two of everything because I often have two of me aboard. So there's 2 mugs and 2 glasses. There's the ground coffee. There is the other mug. I said there were 2 mugs, and there is a mocha coffee maker because I like my proper coffee. That's it. That's empty now. So that's what there is. The cooking things are it's just a camping cook set. It's not terribly clever, it's just what I've evolved to over the years. I've got a couple of tin bowls, a couple of pans, a strainer, yeah, for straining my rice and so on, and a couple of tin plates. I use the plates as lids for the pans rather than have separate lids, just to cut down on the number of things that I carry. And that's it, basically. I move these fiddles out, and put the pans back. As you can see, even though that kettle's hot, I can just do this. It's all perfectly safe. And that can shut up. There we are. Now when you put the lid on, I should see incidentally that my 2 lids have labels on, which I obviously bought from a channel with kombu's for store box cuisine for the galley. These are because the 2 lids are actually slightly different sizes, so that lid won't fit on this, and so in order to tell them apart I put these plaques on, so they are actually necessary. But I just wanted to show you this to make it easier to carry, because it's quite heavy. I have a rope handle, and that can be used to hold the lid on if I'm really going seriously to sea, and I think I might actually have serious water aboard the boat. I can hold the lid on and then hook the rope over here, which holds that tight. There, but that actually does wedge even like that. So that's what that little hook's about, in case you wondered. It means if the thing slightly sort of dislodges itself, and there's solid water in the boat, the lid won't just sort of float away. It actually sort of holds it in place. But it won't, as I say, keep the water out. If you're in a serious capsize, these are going to fill up with water, and I decided that arranging them to be completely waterproof was too much trouble. I don't very often capsize, so you know, when you do, there's perhaps a certain amount of taking it on the chin that has to go on. So that's the galley box. As I say, the kombu's is exactly the same, except it's just a box with a lid, and that takes the food. Okay, right, well, I've put everything away, but what I will actually do is take things out again to show you the stove itself. So it just comes out like that. You've got to set the knob to 0. And inside, what the control knob does is just open and shut a hole there. And there is a canister. There you go. And that you fill with denatured alcohol, which we in Britain know as methylated spirits. But methylated spirits it smells because it's got something in it to make it smell. And I've always bought this alcool à brûler, which you can buy in any French supermarket, and I used to buy this in industrial quantities and import it into Britain. And you just pour some of that into here, basically, and it won't there's mat in there, so it won't sort of come out. It can't spill, that's the point. And that is the Origo stove. If you can get one, get one. They are still available second hand, but they're like hen's teeth and really expensive because they're extremely popular. Very, very good little boat stove. Please let me know if there's anything else you want me to do a video of in the current situation. You know, I'm available to do things. I will be doing some more general outdoors, perhaps philosophical, arty videos as well. I don't know what people like or what people don't really, but I thought I ought to get back to the core subject of dinghy cruising and dinghy cruising bits. So that's the idea of this video, which I hope was helpful.